Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today on the beta server, the Thor hero class was released. I'll be going over his skills, ruins, and weapon, and providing analysis. This class has powerful PvP and PvE skills, which will hopefully lead to some hype. Also, Thor itself is the god of thunder, so let's hope he lives up to his name. Stay tuned for all the details. Thor is the hero class for Novice Guardian. Looks like even Novice Guardian's hero class will be stuck with wind elemental damage. Being stuck to a certain element does suck for a physical class, but hopefully we can overcome this with powerful skills. First is the core hero skill, Thor God Arrives. When Thor uses guidance skills, Mjolnir will cause physical attack times 3500% wind elemental physical damage to a random enemy within 8 meters every 0.7 seconds. For level 4, when Thor uses guidance skills, he can use other non-guidance skills of this class. For level 7, Thor's guidance skills will not be interrupted, and Mjolnir's attack interval is minus 0.2 seconds. Your trusty hammer will help deal lots of damage, and here I cast the guidance skills, Many Thunder, and you can see my hammer doing some damage. For level 4, that is crucial for damage. I'm glad this is just level 4 and not level 7. Here I use the guidance skill Thunder Power, then I'm able to cast the non-guidance skill Storm Judgment for some nice damage. Without this, your DPS is gonna suck. For level 7, not being interrupted is crucial for PvP, but not so much for PvE. Instances like Oracle Dungeon or Echoing Corridor is where you'll most commonly be interrupted, but against Museum, Isles, or PSR, you most likely will not be. Now, you're gonna need lots of ruins, so if you need to buy ruin boxes with BCC, then try Smile.1. Smile.1 allows you to get discounted BCC and premiums for Ragnarok Mobile. They have been around for more than 8 years and have lots of global business partners for other games too. There are plenty of payment methods for lots of flexibility. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks to Smile.1 for sponsoring this video. Next up is Thunder Power. This is an active skill. This is also a guidance skill. Thor gathers the power of lightning in the sky, increasing its wind attribute attack by 10% per second, and increasing the wind attribute resistance coefficient against all enemies by 0.1. It can be guided for up to 5 seconds, stacked 5 times, and the enhanced effect lasts for 60 seconds. The effect cannot be dispelled, and you can move while channeling, and you can click the skill again to stop channeling. The 60-second effect to gain wind attack is great, so definitely cast this skill before battle. Here you can see the status in the bar is counting down at the moment. You can further enhance this skill by having God's Blessing Ruin, which can increase your own strength and luck by up to 10 points per second when channeling. Next is Many Thunder. It is an active skill. It's also a guidance skill. Thor generates 2 arcs per second. Each arc causes the physical attack times 2800% wind elemental damage to a random enemy within a range of 8 meters. Every 1 second of channeling, an additional arc is generated, and can be channeled for up to 5 seconds. You can move while channeling, and click the skill again to stop channeling. This is a skill that you can spam fairly quickly, a bit strange that it hits random enemies, but that's what this arc does. Luckily, it's not just hitting one enemy. Next is Sacred Resonance. It is an active skill. Again, it's a guidance skill. Absorb lightning energy to restore one's own state. During the channeling period, 10% of one's max HP and SP are restored every second, and the cooldown of all class skills is reduced by 1 second. You can move while channeling, and click the skill again to stop channeling. Here I use Sacred Resonance to recover. The recovery is a bit underwhelming in my opinion. Even the Brave's dragon damage is barely being recovered, so unless you're super tanky or have tons of SP, this is kinda meh. Next is Unstable Current. It is a passive skill. The skill damage caused by Thor will fluctuate randomly between 50% and 300%. For every 10 points of strength, the upper limit of the fluctuation increases by 1%. For each 10 points of luck, the lower limit of the fluctuation increases by 1%. This is why luck and strength are needed for this class. I'm not a huge fan of this damage range. I think it's just too big and there's too much randomness with this. You'll definitely be sad if you get hit with over 300% damage because of this skill. Next is Supercharge, a passive skill. When Thor causes wind damage to the enemy, he will add charge to the enemy. Charge can be stacked up to 5 times and lasts for 10 seconds. When multiple enemies carrying charge approaches each other, they will be electrically conductive, losing own luck times number of charges times 50 points of HP, and own luck divided by 3 times number of charges times 1 point of SP per second. The loss of life caused by electric conduction will be affected by unstable current. It is notable that the damage type is life loss. This is a crazy annoying skill in PvP, especially when people are grouped together, since you can cause both HP and SP loss per second, and it's super easy to inflict charge on the opponents. This can further be improved with the Dusk Finale Ruin, which gives when adding charge the enemy variable chanting time will be increased by 0.1 to 1 second. This ruin adds even more annoyance by affecting the variable chant time when the charge is there. Charge can be stacked for 5 times, so you can potentially make someone's variable chant time 5 seconds longer. Next is over a billion lightning. This is an active skill. Thor will throw Mjolnir to the designated area, causing a physical attack times 4800% wind elemental damage to all enemies on the path. If you use this skill again within 3 seconds, Thor will turn into a ball of lightning and hit the target area. The area he dashes through will cause additional damage to enemies on the path. Mjolnir will also detonate all charges on the enemies on the path. Each layers of charge will cause a life loss of 50% damage. Mjolnir, when staying on the ground, it will cause physical attack times 1600% of wind elemental physical damage to enemies within 4 meters every second. This is further improved with the Eternal Soul Star Ruin, where over a billion lightning, the damage of staying on the ground will increase from 1% to 100%. Now, the Eternal Star Ruin's range has so much variance. If you have 100%, the damage is so absurd. This is one of those unfortunate whale ruins where you have to keep re-rolling. Powerful, but I'm not a big fan of these game-breaking variances. Now let's see this in action. This certainly looks cool, and the teleport after is nice if you choose to use this skill again in 3 seconds. This is a nice way to get in someone's face. Next is Storm Judgment, which is an active skill. Thor will cause physical attack times 4500% wind attribute physical damage to up to 10 enemies within 12 meters around himself, and an additional 100% damage to enemies in the hidden state and will remove their stealth. They will not be able to go into hiding for 5 seconds. This skill does a ton of damage, and most importantly, it isn't a guidance skill, so at core level 4 hero passive you can dish out extra damage. Also, it has anti-hiding tech, so this is super annoying to get revealed like that and not being able to hide for 5 seconds. This is another nail in the coffin for Phantom Dancers or Blade Souls, and note this skill is affected by the refine of your Thor specific weapon too, so it can scale very well. But wait, you can further improve this with the Aftershock of Star Ruin. Each layer of charge on the target increases Storm Judgment damage by 10 to 50%. This is another ruin that you want a good reroll for, since 50% extra damage for each layer of charge is straight up nuts, especially since you can stack up to 5 stacks of charge. Here we can see him hitting a bunch of enemies with Storm Judgment. It does great damage. The cooldown makes it a bit hard to spam though. Next is Divine Power, which is a passive skill. Thor's weapon cannot be disarmed or destroyed. So don't you dare strip my precious hammer, and again Phantom Dancers can go cry in the corner. Next is Lightning Gravity, an active skill. It generates a lightning ball in the designated area, pulling enemies within 5 meters around the center. The lightning ball lasts for 5 seconds, the attack and casting damage of enemies pulled in are reduced by 60%, and their movement speeds cannot exceed 100%. This lasts for 3 seconds. Each time the enemy has a charge, the duration increases by 1 second. This is like a souped up version of the Black Hole for Stealth Hunters, but annoying since it reduces cast distance and caps move speed at 100%. This is further improved with the Memory of the Windstar Ruin. The casting distance of Lightning Gravity is increased by up to 0.1 to 3 meters. The ruin increases the range, which is great for you. Here you can see I got a bunch of mobs stuck together, then stuck them in with the Lightning Gravity. This is definitely a great keep away skill. Once you group people together, you can just blast them with some AoE from you or your teammates. Next is Storm Barrier, an active skill. Summon the power of Storm to protect yourself and can absorb max HP times 30% damage. When Thor attacks, 10% of the damage will be converted into a shield. The effect lasts for 20 seconds and cannot be dispelled. During the duration of Storm Barrier, charged enemies approaching will be affected by the conductive effect of Supercharge every second. Storm Barrier provides some survivability for Thor, which I think is good. There are more broken survivability skills out there, but this goes from being good to excellent when the passive skill is discussed next. This is further improved with the Oracle's Advent Ruin. This gives Storm Barrier the base shield value increased to the maximum HP of 1 to 20%. So it's great if you can get 20%, it's definitely a big difference. Next is Elemental Sensing, which is a passive skill. It increases Thor's wind elemental damage reduction by 30%, and during the duration of Storm Barrier, all non-wind elemental damage received by himself will be converted into wind attribute. My friend Perky mentioned if you have high wind reduction or wind reflect, Storm Barrier becomes crazy overpowered. This will allow the orb holder to be super tanky if you choose to be an orb holder as Thor. Next, let's end off by discussing the weapon. Thor's specific weapon is the End of Dusk. The notable things here is each refining level gives Storm Judgment damage plus 3%, so at Refine 15 it's going to be a big boost. For the weapons tier system, the notable thing is tier 5, where you get 15% movement speed when using chant or channeling skills. This is a pretty big move speed buff, which is great. Also, the base weapon is crafted from Gethin and it uses a variety of Niflheim materials. Stay tuned for upcoming videos where I'll try out this build in Legend instances to see how well it does. I have high hopes for this, so hopefully this will do very well. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend, and if you want more sneak peeks, check out this playlist over here.